If you've ever taken something like GABA before, it's designed to kind of calm you down, right? Well, turns out that glutamine is probably even better to take than GABA because it acts as somewhat of a precursor to GABA. It's really fascinating how glutamine, just an amino acid that our body normally makes, like it's a non-essential amino acid, but supplementing it could actually help you be calmer. Now, there's a caveat to this. Have you ever experienced like when you're run down or you're extra stressed or maybe you're overtrained or maybe you're bouncing back from an illness, you're like more anxious, you're edgier. I like to say like my equanimity is challenged, right? Like I have a hard time finding my center and being calm. It's a really common thing. Maybe you're aware of it, maybe you're not. But a lot of times it comes because you're deficient in glutamine and you're not able to produce enough GABA. So there's newer evidence coming out that we can use glutamine at strategic times. We're going to talk about like when to use it, how to use it, when not to use it, to really get a pretty dang cool, almost anxiety reducing effect. So let's jump into it. If you don't mind, drop a quick comment down below. It helps the algorithm out, especially in content like this that's more brain related. It really needs the algorithm behind it. So drop a quick comment down below. If you can, helps these videos out a ton. Also, after this video, I put a 40% off discount link for the dog food that I use with my 4 pups. I'm a big dog person. My wife and I have had dogs since we were in high school together. We have 4. We feed them Sundays dog food. This stuff has no synthetic ingredients. It's a truly good food that my dogs absolutely go crazy over. But I've noticed tremendous improvements in their breath, their fur is softer, but at the end of the day, like, it ends up being something I feel like they enjoy and I feel good about feeding to them. It's a human grade dog food, so really good stuff. And I know not everyone's a dog owner, but people that do have dogs and are like me and are dog people are always looking for the best food to feed their dogs. So I take care of my body, I take care of my family's health. I want to make sure I'm looking after my pups too. So 40% off discount link. If you go down to that link that's in the top line of the description underneath this video. So I'm going to open with a study that was published in FASEB journal, just so that you understand how powerful this can be. Okay, they gave subjects glutamine supplementation. And what they found is that there was a 30% increase in GABA in the extracellular fluid and a 14% increase in GABA in the striatus. So essentially what that means is there was an increase in GABA just from having glutamine. So GABA is the inhibitory neurotransmitter of the brain. It's the brakes, okay? So glutamate is what is the excitatory, like lights our brain up. GABA is inhibitory. It puts on the brakes and allows our brain to calm down. So when we're in that calm, like smooth state and we're relaxed and everything's copacetic and we're all good, that's much more GABA influence. If you've ever had something like kava, that's very GABAergic. Alcohol is GABAergic, but it depletes GABA, so it's a problem. But the calmness you get out of drinking alcohol is a GABAergic effect. So we like GABA. It's good. We want it. It's anxiolytic, right? Okay, but what happens with glutamine is it's really interesting because glutamine can enter into an astrocyte, to a neuron, into the brain. And then what happens is the glutamine gets broken down into glutamate, and then the glutamate gets broken down by glutamate decarboxylase, and you're left with GABA. If you are low in glutamine, your body has to pull glutamine from other areas, and it can do that. But if you are depleted or you have an injury or you're stressed or you're not sleeping well, you're gonna have less available glutamine and it can start pulling it from your muscles. It will get it however it needs it. But if you provide an abundant supply when you need it, you have the ability to produce more GABA because any excess GABA actually gets broken back down into glutamine and can re-enter this whole cycle again. Well, if the body can just break it down in this cycle, and we never really run out of glutamine, why do we need it for an anxiolytic purpose? Like, why do we need it to calm ourselves down? Well, the truth of the matter is that it is demand driven, but do you really want it to pull from your muscle or pull from your gut mucosal layer? No. If you provide your body with glutamine when necessary, not only do you potentially protect that muscle or protect the gut mucosal layer or the gut barrier, but you do provide yourself with an abundance of glutamine and an abundance of glutamate to produce more GABA. The more glutamate that comes through from glutamine, the more GABA you produce. Because you might be wondering, like, if I take a GABA supplement, isn't this going to solve the whole issue? The problem is that GABA doesn't typically cross the blood-brain barrier the way that we think. It can, but sometimes it indicates that you actually have what's called a leaky brain where things are more permeable. Now, if GABA is bound to a niacin, like nicotinyl GABA or GABA B3, then there's evidence that it can cross through. But you still want to be supporting the natural process. This is a gas pedal and a brake that's moving constantly, sometimes to the point where the gas pedal and the brake are on at the same time. To truly have anxiolytic properties and have the brakes and have the calmness, we probably should occasionally supplement with it. But how much do we supplement for this calming effect? It's more about having a steady, consistent supply. So if you work out, when you increase your training volume, it's probably a good idea to increase your dose to maybe 5 to 10 grams per day while the stress load is high. I would also recommend starting at a low amount and seeing how you feel. Glutamine is a simple amino acid that could easily get excreted or stored without much issue, but why would you take more if you don't need to? Now, I would also recommend taking it if you end up having an injury or a burn, but especially if you're ill. So if you feel like you're getting sick or something like that, we have to remember that immune cells are going to use glutamine like it's going out of style. Okay? They are going to suck up glutamine because they need that glutamine to turn it into glutamate, to turn it into alpha-ketoglutarate, to enter the Krebs cycle, to create more ATP, to ultimately proliferate lymphocytes and ultimately regulate T cells, everything that's involved with our immune system that is far beyond my pay grade. All I know is it's complex and it's a lot, and it's a lot of energy demand. So when you're sick or you're under the weather or you're run down, all the more time to have glutamine. That's the whole point. You're fueling that process so that you have more left over to be able to fuel the brain so that you don't get the anxiety-ridden anxiousness and glutamate-tilted brain activity. I promise you, it's probably the cheapest thing that you can do. Is it the most effective? I mean, there's things out there that are stronger. Like, I'm a big fan of Trocalm from a company called Transcriptions. That's probably one of the most potent things I've used. I'm a big fan of, nicotinyl GABA in the first place. All these things work, but as far as like cost effectiveness, straight up glutamine is something that I think a lot of us could benefit from, especially in today's day and age of being stressed. Thanks for keeping it locked in here. I'll see you tomorrow.